respect the flag. That's all I can say. Obviously this part hasn't even been started yet, but the bearings or bushings and all that stuff have to come off. But you can see it's pretty chewed up. So if we get a quick look at this, and then after it's clean, then after it's painted, powder coated, which is paint, so powder coat paint, powder coated. So anyway, get a good look at it. Okay, well, good enough, right? This is another part for an ATV that's been in the abrasive cabinet. Did the outgassing. I got a couple little spots that I had to touch up from the outgassing. But for the most part, I think she's ready. She's going to be painted black. So she looks good. And this part here just came out of the oven. And well, you know what the before looked like, and you can see how shiny and nice that looks. Yeah, that is pretty freaking sweet. Oh yeah, that fucking looks good. Yep, I like it. Yep, and customer I think will be happy with that. Yeah, yeah, I think they'll be happy with that. Let's get a shot of these after they've been blasted. Alright, wheel hub, before it's cleaned up. It's going to be done in black. Just wanted to get a shot of it before it's cleaned up. Do a 15-second, 20-second shot. And there we go. Obviously that's all got to get tore apart. We're not going to have that together. Alright, just a shot of a couple of more parts. It's going to get done in black. You can see all the plugs there, so make sure you're intelligent enough to cover holes that are going to be tight, such as, you know, nuts, bolts, where things are going to be tight. You want to make sure you do it right. Those hubs there, that will get covered with nipples, and so will that one there. Right now I'm just outgassing, and then we'll get those covered, so they'll be fine. So, but make sure you cover what you need to cover, because a little bushing, you know, you're trying to put a bushing, like let's say right there, you try to get a bearing in there or the seal, it's not going to go in if you get powder coat on that. So save yourself some aggravation and do it right.
You can look well coated.
Alright, and you can see all the material is flat, and then once we bake it, it'll be shiny. Looks well coated. Don't see any Faraday areas, are covered good. But something like this is where you really get your Faraday, so yeah. And anyway, I've already started hitting the Faraday spots. I apologize for that. See, I'm trying to set this tripod up to where and of course I don't want to trip on it. So anyway, I think I've got everything set. I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes you'll get powders that'll do that, or the gun where it'll spit like that. Okay. Depends on how heavy the powder is, so I got to lower the pressure a little bit more. It was working fine. So wait a minute. Yeah, you can see it spitting like that, and what'll happen is that'll create a heavy thickness in parts of it, so you got to be careful. So if you do have a stuttering problem like that, just adjust your pressures, you know, take care of it. Then of course make sure you have your, see right now, I'm not getting hardly any powder. And I'm using a fluidizer. So I should be getting a considerable amount more powder than that. So I'll adjust the pressure up a little bit. Try it again. Now the pressure is too low. And some powders will do that. Some of the powders you'll have problems trying to shoot it, not getting enough powder, getting too much powder. My fluidizer must not be working right, because I should be getting a lot more powder than what I'm getting. So I'll have to make some adjustments. But in a way, you can see you can pretty much see how the powder goes on. Nope, that's a piece of dust. I'm gonna have to take that off there. Something was floating in the air. It looks like a cat fur. Yeah, I should be getting a lot more powder than that. So anyway, you get the general idea. I got to turn the part around to get the back of it. I will be building a powder coat oven eventually, and I'll get video. Can't even see me. Anyway, I'll get video of that as I do that. So anyway, basically, you should wear a mask when you're doing this, because you don't want to get your lungs full of this stuff. It would not be very healthy for you. Yeah, see right now the thing is spitting a ridiculous amount of powder. So anyway, different powders will come out differently. It depends on the humidity. So it can be a real pain in the ass getting your fluidizer set if you're using one. Getting everything set right to get the proper flow. If you have too little powder coming out, doesn't make a difference. It just takes you longer to coat the part. Too much powder coming out, then obviously you're wasting a lot of powder. The way this thing was spitting it out, it was wasting way too much powder. So I know it was my fluidizer not being set right, so I got to check that and pull it off and take a look. The part generally is actually pretty well covered though. So I do have to spin it around, but it is pretty much covered. Anyway, make sure you have a good ground on it. Most of the backside actually did get covered pretty good. I'm not really seeing any areas that I have to touch up. Yeah, it actually laid out pretty good, so I don't see any areas where I have to touch it up. But I will double check to make sure. Yep, okay, there's a couple spots there that you really can't see. I gotta touch up. Yep, little spot there. But anyway, for the most part, it really looks good. Simple to do. Then you bake it. But just make sure that you clean the surface. You can use a tack cloth. If you use a tack cloth to get any dust or anything off the surface, cat fur. Well, this is open, but basically if I had a paint booth, I wouldn't have that issue. But I will be building one, like I say. So anyway, basically, that's how I do it. Clean your part, blast it really good. The abrasive you use is entirely up to you. You can use glass bead for softer materials like aluminum and that. I happen to use Scat Magic for getting paint and rust and everything off. But clean your part, outgas it. You can blow it off with your air nozzle or whatever. Outgas it, clean it with acetone or whatever you want. I use acetone, it evaporates quick, doesn't leave a residue. So whatever you use, you want to make sure no residue is left on the part. Then you can bake it again if you think there's going to be any residue. Powder it, check it close up, make sure everything is coated, like I showed you with the Faraday and all that with the little eddy currents. When I bake it, you bake it to temperature part. A lot of these idiots on the internet tell you, oh, once you see it flow out, go ahead and set your timer. No, that's wrong. And the reason I can say that is 100% wrong, manufacturers. Manufacturers, they all tell you that I've ever used, any of the powders I've used, and I bought powders from Pressmatic, Powder Coat Store, and Eastman. Eastman powders I really don't particularly care for that much. But anyway, all of them, it's when the temperature of the part reaches cure temperature. If your cure temperature is 375 for 10 minutes, you wait until that part hits 375 degrees. That's when you start your timing, not when it flows out. Some parts will be, boom, 10 minutes, they'll be flowing out and the part temperature will be good. Other parts, you do like an intake manifold or a head or something like that, heavier gauge. This one here, I can tell you right now, this is going to take 15 to 20 minutes for this part to reach full temperature. Then that's when I'll set my timer. So go by what the manufacturer tells you. Well, this is 400 degrees at 10 minutes. So anyway, subscribe if you want to subscribe. Hit the little subscription. Hit the little bell. Hit the little B in the bottom right corner to subscribe. Hit the little notification bell, and every time it uploads a video, you will be notified. Thank you very much for watching. We're over 41,000 views. I checked it. It was like 41,441 or something. So I just appreciate everybody watching my videos. Thanks a lot. All right, the part has reached temperature. So I set my timer, as you can see. I have my timer set. It's a good idea to use a timer. And I finally started making samples of colors. I wasn't doing that at first. And then I'm like, I should be making samples so people come in, they can say, hey, because your powder looks different. Like you seen that, I filmed that, and it was just a flat. Once you bake it, it'll become a gloss, semi-gloss, satin. They have a wet look. So I mean, they're all different. So the powder that goes on isn't necessarily the exact same color that you're going to get after you bake it, so keep that in mind. Top coats, you have to be careful of, because you can top coat parts that don't require top coating. You can top coat it, but that can change the color of the undercoat. So just remember that. Guys. So anyway, just remember that. So anyway, I'll get a shot once this bakes for 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes at 400. I'll open the oven. Some people leave the parts in the oven and just open the door. I pull the part out of the oven. If you're going to do that, leave it in there. That's fine and dandy. Freaking mosquitoes. I got the door open. You can leave it in there, but if it's an oven, just open the oven door all the way if you're going to leave the part in there to cool down. Usually I take the parts out unless I'm done for the day. I don't have anything else going in behind this. So as soon as it finishes, I'll just open the door and leave it hanging in there, but I will get a shot of it. All right, part has reached, it's 10 minutes. Slowly open the oven, so in case there's any cat fur floating around. And this is not, you can see the, well, as soon as you open the door, you start cooling down, because right now we're down at 373 degrees. You see how rapidly the temperature drops. So anyway, you're seeing the part for the first time after it's coated. Oven is still hot. You can actually go inside the oven, because it is a big oven, but it's friggin' hot. So you can see how nice that looks, how shiny that is from what it does. This is a gloss black. They make a wet one that's, oh my god, it looks wet. So you can see how nice that looks. Okay. I can't tell if there's any areas I need to re-hit, but that's reflection. You know, that'd be cool if it was blue though, partially blue, which you can do. So anyway, you can see how nice that looks, shiny. This is a part off of that would look pretty sweet, man. If you did a coat like that, you could do like a chrome, super chrome, with a color changing. Color changing metallic would look good. But anyway, that's a reflection off of the floor, as you can see. So anyway, there you go. That's how nice it looks. So I just appreciate you watching my videos. I'll probably splice this one in with a bunch of others so you can see like multiple. This is off of an ATV to protect it when it hits, so nothing, you know, fucks it up. So that's what this plate on the bottom is for. You can see right there, there's some control arms that were already finished. And then there's a couple of more skids there that are also finished. Well, you can see that turned out pretty nice also. So anyway, I think there's only one more part on this job that needs to be black. You know, and this is one of the ones, you know, a freebie I'm doing for buddy of mine. Was Michael's best friend in high school. But anyway, so I mean, I made him buy the powder and everything, obviously. So anyway, these really turned out nice, and then we're gonna do the rest of the frame. I believe he said gold, so we're gonna put a chrome underneath, and then the gold on top. And I think he said he bought not translucent, but a top coat also. So anyway, it should look pretty good, gold and black. I think it'll look tits, but that's just me. So we'll get shots of that too when I start doing those parts. Get a few shots of that. There you go. Thanks for watching.